Hey everybody. So I ordered, partly because I saw a couple other people have one, have a Hakko 191 thermometer for measuring temperature from the soldering iron, and I decided to get one. I bought my Yihua 939D Plus some time ago, and I wanted to just curious if there's a way to determine if the temperature is right. And the thermocouple, sure, I could measure it that way, but if you've seen other videos from other people, not necessarily end up being quite accurate. So I think Big Clive, he had bought one of these off of eBay, and he thought it might be a knockoff, but he wasn't sure. And there's, I think someone else bought one as well. So I decided, well, I got online, was looking, and I found a number of them on eBay for like 10, 11, 12 bucks. I was like, well, okay, well, I'll give it a shot. So I ordered one. I got here today, and I found it interesting. Haven't actually pulled it out. I've only just cut the tape, but for a fake, they've done a lot of work. I'm not saying it isn't fake. Big Clive had speculated that his might not have been so much a knockoff, but an older model. So we're just going to see. And what he thought was that maybe this is one they were clearing out, that they had stock, maybe overseas or something. That's my guess, and they were just clearing it out. So I've got it. Well, sadly mine's on, so the battery might have been running down over time. Kind of interesting. Switch is not the best. Anyway, so yeah, this is it. Claims to be made in Japan. Kind of wondering there, that sticker probably wouldn't be like that, but you know, who knows? I mean, it's pretty light, pretty whatever. And then there's all the stuff. Instruction sheet, which were some kanji. I actually can't tell you which, but yeah, whatever. And then of course here's the sensors. It's supposed to have 10, and let's see, I think there might actually be 10 in mine. I think someone else, when they got theirs, they only had 5, but this is sorry, I'm holding my camera. Got, well, they all came out. What do we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 2, 3. Yeah, I might have 9, and this thing's open, which makes me think maybe someone took one out, or maybe they put it there and that was the 10. So it might be that, I guess if you really want to be technical, is 1 and 9 more for 10. So yeah, okay, well, I'm gonna cut this off, and later on I'll probably give it a quick test and not even open it up and check and see what the battery is. Did notice it was on when I got it, but it might not. Well, no, temp's going up when I touch it with my hand. I wonder if it'll drop back down. It might work. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, more in a bit. All right. I've taken this apart and compared to, as I mentioned before, Big Clive. Saw him take apart one of these, and then I think it was Chris Cochrane. I'm not sure how to pronounce his name. Another gentleman who had also had bought one of these when it got cheap, and he had compared his to what Clive had, and I can say with certainty that mine is exactly the same as his, without a doubt. Let's see if I can focus a bit. I remember from his video, he had the same basic stuff, and he had said had the same issues. This was a anonymous chip, which obviously controller. One of the odd things, which is kind of hard to see, but it's there, is they've got this, well, let me back up because there's one important thing. So when I took mine apart, when I say I took it apart, I took the screws holding the case, these four, I heard something started rattling around, and I'm like, okay, well, that's not good. And then it turns out it was one of the two screws that was holding the board in place. Well, there's actually a place for 3 screws, which is very odd. And one of them is just not there. So it was pretty clear, to me at least, that this board had been opened, or this unit had been opened. I also took the battery out. This is, I went and looked this up. You can find this. It's a, assuming the translation is correct, it's a genuine celestial multimeter toy something or other 9-volt battery. It's pretty funny. Anyway, that's gonna get tossed. I don't have no idea if it's actually a reputable brand. It might very well be, for all I know. The sensors, as I said before, they seem to be from. I think these are legitimate. I looked online and compared packaging and looked at what I was seeing, and you can still buy these. They're like $20 for a pack of 10, and they, they're still very much there. I've thought about this, and I think this is an actual real unit. I think this is actually a genuine Hakko 191. The reason I say that is for a few things. So I started digging around. I watched Chris Cochrane's video, and I noticed Cochrane. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing his name right. And I noticed he had the same numbers here. His date was the same. I don't know if this is a manufacturer date or maybe this is for the revisions, revision CPZ 191, blah 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 blah. One of the odd things, I don't know if you can really see it, but there is right here, there's a bridge between this pin and this pin. And what's odd about it is that it appears they've bridged this pin out. Now, I don't know why. I'm not really clear why they've done that, but there's a wire connected. And then there's a surface mount, looks like a resistor going between these two. And they've drilled this trace, and they've gone all the way through. I don't really know why. I'm a hobbyist at best, so I don't understand. I'm guessing I have a theory, or more like a guess, but I think this is a real unit. Now, the 191 has been discontinued by Hakko. And you actually, what it's been replaced by is the FG, I think it's the FG 101. And I found a variety of pictures of this unit on product pages for a variety of places, and like I said, I think this is real. And the reason why I think it's real is because if you've watched other channels and people who go and look at fakes or knockoffs, in this case, they spent, for a knockoff, they spent a lot of time, because like this is correct, though it's covered up. Partly there's under here is the correct label, and this is, it all matches, and this is actually how the box, there's one I have where they actually show the genuine one in the box open up, and this is exactly how the box is made. So I think for the packaging and stuff, I mean, unless they went and bought a bunch of extra Hakko packaging, I think this is actual real. I think this really is one. Now, there's 2 models, so this is the instruction sheet. And I can't read this, and I'm assuming this is in Chinese. I could be wrong. It might be in Japanese, kanji, or something like that. And they have 2 models, the 191 and 191B. One of the things I did do was I actually found someone had a scan of the American instructions in English. Sorry, may or may not be American. And they also mentioned the 191 and the 191B. It's very similar. They have, the same points all the way up to 4, though in this case they have a 5, which I think they talk about 1911 as the replacement for 10, and now it's 212. But the 212s work. They're the same thing. They just, I guess Hakko changed a little bit. I don't know. Part of the reason why I think this is real, though, or maybe the instruction, all the printing, the font, the style, all those things that you would find, well, they match. They match quite well. Like here's the Hakko, you know, the logo is similar. Now that one might all be a little bit off. I don't know, it's hard to tell. If you look at it close. Yeah, and this one, it's hard to say. This might actually be off. I don't know. They put a lot of effort into faking it, I'll say that, if that's the case. That is funny, though, because everything seems to be relatively legitimate from working. Now, the funny thing about it is there's two models, and this is my guess, that if it's not a fake, and I'm not sure, it might well be a fake, a knockoff. If it's not a fake, my guess, and I don't know this, maybe they were messing with it, this change. They were rerouting a pin to change something. The possible that they were changing it to be from centigrade to Fahrenheit or Celsius to Fahrenheit. I don't know. That's a guess. This one reads Celsius. I'd already turned it on and it was reading out Celsius. But I don't know. It's interesting. And so forth. One of the things, though, I did notice when I said I opened it, you could tell it was open, was that there was a screw rattling about in the container, and it was one of the two screws holding this board in. And there's two screws here. Yeah, it's supposed to be here and here, but there's a spot for a third screw right here. So it's clear that this one, this case was designed for this. Now, you know, that's fine, but what it is it was stripped and it fell out. The screw was stripped and it had fallen out and it was pretty loose. So that's what happened and why it was rattling around. I'm gonna have to run over and grab my Loctite because I'm gonna put a little bit of Loctite back on it, and then hopefully that'll be enough to hold it. I also picked up a few extra screws. I'm going to try this third one because if it's popped out, then it might pop out again. And yeah. So my guess, again, this is discontinued, and perhaps it's legitimate. And I don't know, maybe there's a problem with it. Maybe when they were working on it, maybe there's an issue on why they discontinued it. So, well, you know, I don't know that for a fact if that's the problem, but it's just a guess. And I'm thinking that maybe, you know, they were dumping them, and that's what really happened. And if that's the case, then it's well, it'd be one heck of a deal, because even this model discontinued. I was finding prices, albeit this is US dollars, prices of that were about anywhere from $170 and up, and the one that Hakko replaces with is the FG101. I've seen that anywhere from $207 up to $270, so it's quite an expensive piece, quite an expensive item, and you know, it is useful to measure the temperature of your soldering iron and see if it's correct or not. So with that said, you know, if you can find these and you're willing to take the eBay gamble to see, even if it is a knockoff, if it's good enough, if it works, then yeah, you've hit it. Now, I part of me though really thinks this isn't legit, and the reason why is, and the reason why is, if you dump the instructions out, there's calibration. Now, again, I don't know this for a fact, but if you look on the back here, they show calibration, and if you hold it up, you'll see, okay, well, here's this. See if I can get it in here. That's the switch, there's the LCD, and then supposedly there's supposed to be two little pots, and there ain't no pots. There's no adjustment whatsoever for this. Now, I haven't looked on here well enough to see if there's any pots on here, but I'm not seeing any. So my guess would be that they All right, there's no calibration, which means it's probably a fake. Now, that said, maybe there was some way to do it. I can't see any other way. You know, I'm looking at it through the magnifying glass and I'm not seeing any way to do it. So maybe most of it's legitimate. And I say most of it meaning that like all of this actually is made by Hakko or it's outsourced, what have you. They made the parts and then someone picked them up and then pulled the board. And they took the time to make another board. I don't know. It's just a guess. And I don't really know what else to say than it's a guess. And the question is it good enough? You actually, with the Hakko, it's a shame. They actually tell you how you can calibrate it. They say, look, you can do it with... they said you can use a DC power supply to do it, or you can remove the screws, and then there's maybe they just decided to redo the I don't know. It's probably fake, but it's a good fake if it is. Anyway, I'm gonna put it back together and we'll see. I'll be right back. All right, one thing I was able to do was I put this third screw in. I think I like that a lot. It's going to stabilize the switch pretty well. That's really about it. I don't know what else to say about it other than hopefully it's the right thing. Hopefully it works. I've thought about it some more and I'm pretty sure this is a fake. I mean, without a doubt. I think it's a good fake. But, you know, again, that is a guess. Somebody's went to a lot of trouble to make this one a fake. So anyway, I'm going to finish doing this and then I'll be back. So, put it back together. Comes on, works. I'm going to test it until later. Anyway, yeah, that's about it for my model. I'm pretty sure this is a fake, but like I said, it's rather, I mean, it's a good try. I'll give them that. And I'm pretty sure, though, well, I'll say this. If it works 95% as well as a real one, I'm not upset by that because this thing only cost me about $11 US, which is pretty freaking good if you ask me. So yeah, anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. One final point. I'm not, like I said before, I wasn't going to test it. If you want to go see someone else use it, you can go to Big Clive, his video. He uses his. Pretty handy device though, assuming you have a good one and it works. Anyway, thanks.